So here's a compiled list of top sneaker releases for May, and I basically cherry picked the ones that I think are worth mentioning and look nice to me and worth looking at. And even though I may not like them, they seem to be sort of more popular in terms of the trends at the moment. And basically, I tried to sort of find information for any sort of ASICS releases that are coming up in May, and same for Crocs and same for Yeezy. But there's no sort of information on those. There's nothing at the moment, so it's difficult to sort of find some details about that. But I imagine obviously ASICS will probably have maybe a couple of different sort of collabs, and same for Crocs. I imagine Crocs may be releasing more of Soleil Brembury Crocs because of the fact that it's coming up to sort of summertime, and usually Crocs is more sort of the go-to during spring summertime. So I imagine they will be going quite hard at releases in sort of May-June time. So I imagine anyway. And then I've kind of looked at the fact that Yeezys are still going to be around, and it looks like there'll be some more releasing in May, and whether that's the same stock that was released at the end of March, or it's one of those ones where they're going to have sort of new silhouettes. But I imagine in any shape or form there will be some Yeezys, but I imagine that they're probably likely to go on sale or at a discount. And so I don't think they'll be majorly discounted, but I imagine they might just sort of throw them onto the Adidas app and just see how they go from there. So with the New Balance releases, there's a few mentioned, and again, New Balance usually don't have too many releases that they sort of make show up front, and it's kind of almost on a weekly basis. They will kind of release new ones that are coming out for the next week or 2 weeks. And at the moment these are the only ones that I've got. So there's a New Balance Walk Runner. I'm not really a fan of this particular model, but I appreciate the colorway and I do like the way it looks, but it's just the way it feels on feet is just not for me. And there's so many other sort of New Balance silhouettes that feel a lot nicer on foot. And like I say, I really love the look of it, and I really wanted to like this sneaker, but it's not something for me. And it comes in 3 different colorways. So it's the licorice with rosewood, which looks really nice, and so with the limelight with lemonade. I think all the colours are really nice compared to what's been released so far. I think these are the better ones. I think the licorice with rosewood reminds me of the 1960 Joe Freshgoods Inside Voices collab, and the other 2 are very much sort of more summertime colour, and I think any 3 of those look really nice to me. But overall I'll give it a 3 just because I'm not a fan of the silhouette. And then we've got the New Balance 1500 and Green Oasis and Blood Orange. So this is on the 9th of May. I think with this one, I actually like the way they've done the green colour. It's quite nice actually, it's quite sort of vibrant. And same with the Blood Orange one as well. They're quite sort of different to the norm. And the only problem is the price on this is £230, which is a lot of money for such a sort of old sneaker. And even though the materials look are nice on these, and I've reviewed a previous one, the 35th anniversary version, I just didn't really get on that well with it, and it's not one of the most sort of comfortable sneakers in my eyes. I'm sure once you sort of wear it in, but it's kind of one of those things that I would choose another pair of New Balances to wear similar to the other Warp Runner, and for that reason I've given it a 3. But I do like the colourways. I do like what New Balance is doing in general with their colourways. And then you kind of move on to the New Balance 993C. So I don't have a pair of 993s. I had a pair of the Joe Freshgoods ones, and it was the baby blue pair, and I ended up getting rid of those because they just felt a bit too big on feet, and the comfortability on these are really good, but I think some of the other models are much nicer, like the 990 V4 and the V6 from what I tried so far. However, it's still comfortable though, don't get me wrong, and I may look to pick these up, probably more if they go on sale, but with the 993s they tend to sort of sell out, and so for that reason I give it a 4 out of 5. So this is a new pair of New Balance 990 V60s, and it's the true camo with a dark camo colour, and for me I think it's one of those ones where it's probably one of the rare 990 V6 where I'm not completely sold on it. Obviously I do love the silhouette, but this particular colorway isn't quite doing it for me. I think maybe if I see it in person it might be different, but it's very similar to the brown colorway that came out. I can't remember what the colorway is, but there was a brown one that came out which looks similar to the Carhartt version, and it was very sort of monotone, and this feels something similar. And I think the earlier versions of the 990 V6 had better colorways in my opinion, but it's still nice, but not like one of those ones where I feel like it's a must-have. And then you've got the New Balance 993 Interstellar in Chive. So this was supposed to release in late April, but it's been moved to the 2nd of May. And these colorways are nice actually of the 993s, and I don't mind the silhouette. It's quite nice on foot and feels quite comfortable, and not as nice as a 990 V4 or a V6, but still very comfortable, and they look quite cool as well. So these colorways are nice. I don't know if I would would grab them myself personally. I think if I was to grab any of the pairs, it would be the green ones, but saying that, I don't have too many purple sneakers, so that's the other one, but I won't really be grabbing them at the moment. It's not high on my priority. There's too many releases in May at the moment, so yeah, so this one's gonna have to wait. Action Bronson has been teasing this particular silhouette for quite a while, and there's two different versions by the looks of it. So there's this 1906R, which is the Rosewater pair, which is one that I'm really interested in, and I probably will definitely sort of go for this. It just looks really nice, and nice to me, and I'm a really big fan of the silhouette anyway. And the other one is like a lapis lazuli sort of colorway, where it's like this dark blue navy color. That one looks similar to the 990 V6 pair, so I'll probably give that one a miss. But this Rosewater one, whenever it does come out, or if it comes out, then I'll be definitely interested in it. Moving on to the Nike releases, and the first one that's coming up on the May 1st is the Bode Nike Astro Grabber, and this seems to be another one like the Field General, where Nike are aiming at the sort of Samba market, but the price on this one's quite sort of high. It looks like it's sort of a reworked silhouette as well, so they've kind of obviously taken, I guess it's a football shoe in my eyes, that's what it looks like anyway, so they've just taken one of those and just redone it, and it looks okay to me. It's not like anything special, and to tell you the truth, I don't think it's one of those ones where you'd wear it for lifestyle, but could be wrong on that, but it just doesn't look very appealing to me. And then you get the Kobe 8 Mambasita. So this is a pair that I'm really not that fussed about, and it looks quite cool with the butterflies, and it's a different take on the Kobe 6 that we've seen so far, and it does look good. I'm sure it'll be hyped up much like any other Kobe sneaker, but for me, I've given it a 4 out of 5 just from the looks of it, and it's probably one of those ones when you look at it in person, you can probably see more of the sort of details and whatnot, but at the moment it's not really sort of grabbing me. And then you have the Nike LeBron 21, and there isn't kind of a code name for it at the moment, but it just sort of says multicolor at the moment, and it's one of those ones where it's got a mismatched pair of trainers, so one is different color and the other one's different color, but they've both got kind of funky colors throughout. But I'm not really a fan of the LeBron 21. I do prefer the 20, which I think was quite nice actually, especially sort of to wear casually. But with this one, I'm just not sort of feeling it as much. But I give that 3 out of 5. But I thought it was worth a mention because you don't really see too many mismatched sneakers. And then we have the Pata Nike Air Huarache Plus, which is a takeoff obviously an older Huarache model, and they've kind of updated it with the latest tech, and I'm kind of actually glad to see this, because I think Nike were just probably getting a bit lazy where they were just releasing retros but not doing anything special to them, and sometimes it's nice to sort of have a sneaker untouched. But I also would like sneakers with nodding back to the retro scene, but also providing the latest sort of technology in terms of comfortability. So this pair, it looks like they've just done a sort of midsole outsole swap, and it kind of looks familiar to the midsole looks familiar to what the Pegasus has, so it should be pretty comfortable on foot, and for that reason I've given it a 4, because at least they're sort of trying to do something different and something unique, and I tend to sort of like the Huarache line anyway, so it's quite sort of funky and it's not for everyone. And this one, they've got sort of a laceless, almost like a strap to kind of fasten it up, which I think is quite cool. And then the next one is the Nike Air Max DN, and this one's coming in sort of several colorways, which is typically what Nike tend to do, and it's releasing in an all black colorway, which I think will actually look nice on this particular one, this silhouette, because when I reviewed this, I thought it was quite sort of aggressive looking and quite sort of chunky, and I think having it kind of in an all black colorway, it will kind of make that slightly more muted. But there's also sort of a triple white colorway in the almost that pink colorway, and then a grey one as well, so I think it's one of those ones. Hopefully they don't kind of keep releasing it and rinsing it out kind of thing. But I think the Air Max DN is a pretty cool sneaker, and I've seen some of them sort of go on sale from other retailers. So maybe eventually that will kind of happen as well. So and I may sort of pick it up at that time. But I think paying the money for it at the moment is just not my priority. And the Air Max 1 Grand Piano. This one, I'm not that fussed on it. I'm kind of more of a, I like some of the sort of OG sort of silhouettes and colour schemes more, and some of the collabs I really like the Concepts one or the Travis Scott one, and there's some other ones like the Tree Line which I really like. With this one, I'm not so fussed on it. It's kind of, I don't know, I think the white swoosh that's killing it for me. It just feels a bit white on white. It just feels a bit odd to me. And but I do like the influence from obviously a piano, which is quite cool. So the next one is the Nike Cortez Forest Gump. I'm not really a fan of this silhouette in general. It's one of those ones where it's not something that I would go out to wear. And I actually won the Sakai pair quite a while ago and didn't really like that, and I just found that really unstable as well. But it had that sort of cool look to it. This one I've just given it a 2 out of 5. It's just not for me, but I understand why it's a classic sneaker, and this one's a sort of almost like a classic colorway because it's really sort of noted towards Forrest Gump. And then you got the Nike KD4 Weatherman. So I wasn't really into sneakers that much at that particular time in my life. So for me, this doesn't really have any sort of significant bearing. But imagine all the people that originally bought these will probably be after these as well. But for me, I've given it a 4 out of 5. It's not something that I can probably wear casually, and it'd be one that you normally sort of have for the basketball court, in my opinion. And then in this one, the Kobe 4 Protro Girl Dad, I kind of got this one that still looks quite nice actually, because it looks quite sort of premium, and the sort of materials on there, from the looks of it, does look premium, and whether it's sort of nubuck or suede, it looks very, very nice and quite sort of elevated as well. Almost like you could wear it sort of casually, but I think the only thing that would put me off is the colour scheme itself, and also the big silver heel counter. But other than that, it looks like a cool sneaker in my eyes. And then you got this ACG Rufus model, which looks pretty cool to me, and I wanted to sort of mention it because it's something different and something out there, and the fact that it's more like a mule type footwear, it gives you sort of that easy sort of wear vibes. Similar to Crocs really, and I don't mind it, and the price isn't too bad at 110, so it could be one of those things that I may grab on sale later on, just out of curiosity, just to see what it's like. And then you got Reebok releases. Again, Reebok don't release too much information, but at the moment the only one I can sort of see is the Jaun collab, which is with the Club C. And in typical Jaun fashion, it's very simplistic and in its nature, and the colorways look nice, but I'm just not a fan of the Club C model. I know it's a classic model, but I had a pair recently and just didn't really find them that comfortable on foot. And sometimes, with trainers you can get away with a certain amount of comfortability, but these ones are just felt really bad to me. So it's not something that I'll be wearing again. And the Adidas releases, so this one, I think the Harden 8 was supposed to release in April as far as I remember, but I think it's got moved to 1st of May rather than being 1st of April. But the colourway looks nice, and I really like this particular silhouette. I have like the black and white version, which is enough for me, but it's a really nice, cool looking silhouette, and it's actually nicer to wear than the AE one, in my opinion. I've been wearing the AE ones a bit, and I'll probably go through maybe a video of like wear testing different trainers, but the AE one, just to sort of give you a spoiler alert, I find it quite sort of harsh on the forefoot area, and even though I've sort of worn them quite a few times, it hasn't sort of broken in. So but with this one, I found the Hardens to be really sort of forgiving, because it's got quite a sort of wide base, and for that reason I've given this one a 4 out of 5. And then the Adidas Star Wars line continues. So on the 4th of May they're releasing this particular Superstar, and it's okay. Not something for me. I'm not really a fan of the Superstar anyway, or any of these kind of Adidas sort of silhouettes where they're quite sort of simplistic in their nature, and just don't find them very appealing or very comfortable on foot, I'm afraid. So it's not one for me. And this is where I think where I'll sort of change my mind on sneakers. But I'm a big fan of this campus model from Bad Bunny and Adidas, and I think Bad Bunny has done enough to kind of elevate the campus to make it something different. And although they're not the most comfortable sneaker, it's quite sort of firm on foot. However, I just really like the styling, and sometimes that's enough. Like if the styling looks really good and it's comfortable enough to wear, where you can sort of rock it. And it's one that I sort of wear sort of spring, autumn time really, and I find them perfect for that kind of weather, and they look cool as well on foot. So for me, it's one of those ones where, like I say, the design of it is just elevated than a sort of standard campus, and this particular colorway is in my eyes fire to me. And with the Jordan releases, so Jordan always have a good lineup of releases, and going into May, it's quite sort of difficult on the wallet, I think. So the first one is obviously the military blue 4s, and this one is, in my eyes, a 5 out of 5. I'm a fan of white and blue anyway, so for me, it's a must-have, and I think a lot of people have done reviews on this already. So my review will be late because it'll be from hopefully a retail cop. And then you've got the Air Jordan 1 Shadow. This looks another cool trainer. I don't have a pair of Shadows, so I'll be after this particular low anyway. So if they release a high, then I'll probably buy the high as well. But this one's a definite for me, and even if it goes under retail, I'll still probably buy it retail just because I really want this particular sneaker. So I've given it a 5 out of 5. It's a classic colorway and it's easy to wear, and just a fan of Jordan 1 lows in general anyway. And then you got the Travis Scott. I'm hoping this is would be my first official retail cop from Travis Scott, but we'll see. They're always quite sort of difficult to get, but this colorway is actually really growing on me. When I first saw it, I wasn't too much of a fan of it, and if I'm honest, I'd rather the sort of off-white, silver panels are more, would be white instead. But at the moment, I still don't mind it. I think it looks really nice on foot, and I think it'd be one of those ones where I'd be happy to have this kind of loud colorway, which I normally don't tend to wear too much anyway. But I think this one I'd make an exception, especially if I want it for retail. But I won't be paying resale for it unless it's at a quite sort of reasonable price. And then you got the Air Jordan Low Space Jam. So I'm not really too much a fan of Air Jordan 11s in general, but I do like this particular silhouette, and I think with Jordan 11s they look particularly nice in black, in an all black colorway, because you get the contrast of the patent leather, which I'm not too much of a fan of anyway, and then the upper being this sort of mesh material, but all in black, and it's just nice to sort of have those different tones of black on there, which is really cool. And then the J Balvin Air Jordan 3. This one I actually initially liked it and was a fan of it, but I think there's too much black for me on the trainer. It's on the sort of eyelets as well. I think they should have made that different colour, like grey or something. But it's a cool sneaker, but obviously I'll be going for it. But if I don't win it, I don't think I'll be going resale for it, because I have the Median Sunsets, which I'm sort of happy with. And then you've got the Air Jordan 12 Red Taxis. These are cool looking trainers. Again, Jordan 12s aren't my bag, but I do respect them, and I do like them, and they are sort of comfortable and give you that sort of hiking shoe vibe as well, so which is quite cool. And if you like that kind of shoe, then this one's something you'll be after, and it's obviously very similar to the original Taxis. And then this pair released early in the UK, and I've managed to grab a pair off the Nike website, and so I'll be doing a review on that in the next, hopefully, few days. But this one, the colorway is really nice and really appealing to me. I'm a bit partial to the black toe colorway anyway, and anything with black toe on it, and having the different collar and heel area is okay with me. So this one again looks similar to the Mocha, but also different. And for me, it's a must-have, and I'm happy to sort of pay retail for it rather than sort of going on the resale market, because you're never not sure what kind of pair you're going to pick up on resale, even if it is sort of under retail. And then you've got the Air Jordan 17 Low Lightning. This is something that is not something that I was too much aware of, when I was younger, and it's probably more for the US market at that time, I guess. And it's a cool pair, and I think for me, it's not something that I'd be grabbing, especially at $300. It's just way too much. But I do like the look of the sneaker. It's just not something that I'm gonna, look to sort of grab and apparently comes with a suitcase, but I imagine this particular one will be limited, and I think there's a UNC version coming out later on in the year, and that one, I may look to buy depending on, if they sort of reduce the price, but if they're keeping them at 300, I think I'm kind of out for that.